Baltimore is a beautiful northeastern historic city located in Maryland, right on the Chesapeake Bay. Baltimore City was first settled in 1661 by English settler led by Davy Jones. The town was first founded as a tobacco farming area. In Baltimore's early days, it was known for its mills and privateering. By 1742, tobacco was regularly being shipped out of the Baltimore harbor. After the Revolutionary War, a slump in the privateering and trade caused Baltimore to build the first public railroad in 1828, the Baltimore-Ohio Railroad. During the Civil War, trade was cut off from the South, but Baltimore soon became a military depot. In 1904, the Great Baltimore Fire happened. It started in a cotton warehouse, and the fire destroyed nearly 2,000 buildings over 70 blocks. This prompted the repair and refurbishment of the city. The city did well during World War I as a producer of military goods. Because of its role in the industrialization of the war, Baltimore resisted the Depression. It was again a major producer of military goods in World War II, and in the 1970s, the city worked on building up the Inner Harbor area by adding the Maryland Science Center, the National Aquarium, and the American Visionary Art Museum. The city shifted from a center of trade and goods to an upscale tourist area where knowledge and art flourished. Between the 50s and 90s, the urban crisis broke out in Baltimore. Following the migration of the wealthier people to the suburbs in 1950s, a heroin epidemic broke out in the city. It started with just a few dozen African-American men in the 40s, and then by 1960, there were 2,000 documented heroin addicts. Violent crimes, burglaries, and robberies occurred in profuse amounts during this time. In 1999, the city began to improve. From 1999 to 2004, the city had a 40% reduction in violent crime. Other historical fun facts. Francis Scott Key wrote America's national anthem in Baltimore while watching the bombardment of Fort McHenry during the War of 1812. America's first Catholic cathedral, built in 1806, is the Baltimore Basilica of Assumption. It is located in Baltimore, where the largest religious affiliation remains Roman Catholicism at 12%. Billie Holiday, the jazz singer, was born in Baltimore. A monument in her honor stands at the corner of Lafayette and Pennsylvania Avenue. Edgar Allan Poe lived, died, and was buried in Baltimore. The Poe House is a popular tourist attraction. His poem, The Raven, was the inspiration for the Baltimore NFL team, the Ravens. The first civic monument dedicated to President George Washington is Baltimore's Washington Monument. It's located in Mount Vernon. The Washington Monument is designed by Robert Mills and is a national and city landmark. Construction started in 1815, and by 1829 it was completed. The landmark is 178 feet tall and is so tall that it can be seen by the highway overpass a few blocks away. Atop the Doric column is George Washington himself holding a scroll and sword. According to the 2010 census, the total population in Baltimore is 620,961 people. The median age is 34.4, and Baltimore is made up the demographics of 29.6% white, 63.7% black, and 4.2% Hispanic or Latino. Baltimore City is home to over 230 neighborhoods, some poor, some rich, some in between, and some being ethnic enclaves. A great example of an ethnic enclave in Baltimore is Baltimore's Little Italy, located just east of the Inner Harbor in downtown Baltimore. This charming area is known for its great Italian restaurants. It got its name because of the large number of Italian immigrants that moved to the neighborhood in the 20th century. The neighborhood is known for having one of the lowest crime rates in the city because it is such a tight-knit community. On the other end of the crime spectrum is Baltimore's neighborhood of Sandtown, Winchester. Sandtown is predominantly African-American part of the city. This neighborhood covers 72 blocks on the west side of the city. The neighborhood is 98.5% African-American. It is a very problematic area involving gang violence by Crips and Bloods members. There is a problem with racial rioting and abandonment of houses. Another neighborhood in Baltimore city limits is Roland Park, an affluent neighborhood in North Baltimore. The median household income in 2011 was $117,792. The neighborhood is mostly home to married couples and married couples with children. Located in the city limits of Baltimore, but is known to be the very very first planned suburban community in America. It was created between 1890 and 1920 and is a part of the U.S. National Register of Historic Places, along with some other Baltimore neighborhoods, including Mount Vernon, Federal Hill, Fells Point, and Canton. To conclude my presentation, it must be noted that anyone who's not in Baltimore right now is missing out, especially during this lovely holiday season. Happy holidays.